Hi guys, we have a full moon happening this week on Thursday the 12th of January. That's at 11:33 in the morning and that's based on London time. And I don't usually swear on my channel. I just don't think most people appreciate it. But when I looked at this chart, I really did want to swear because it looks so complicated and it looks so intense. I'm exhausted just looking at it. Now, I will go through it. I've got my little chart here. I will put it up during the video as well, so you can see what we're actually looking at. We've got a Cardinal Grand Cross happening in the sky during this full moon, which really makes it much more complicated. And then a full moon in Cancer anyway is an emotional time. Okay, so let's break this down. So, very simply, full moon happens every month. It's when the moon is totally illuminated. The sun and the moon are 180 degrees away from each other, and the moon shines its light on us, and it influences us most powerfully. And because it's in Cancer, we're going to be showered in this Cancer energy. Now, Cancer is a water sign. It's a cardinal water sign, so it's about taking charge of things, taking charge of the emotions. It's about loyalty, it's about family, it's about creativity, intuition, all of the intangible aspects of life: feelings, intuitiveness, loyalty, bonds between people, what, the tone of a family, what connects and binds people to each other. That is what Cancer concerns itself with. So we're going to be flooded with that kind of emotional side of things. We're going to feel what our lives are about. We're going to feel what our relationships really truly are. People who are in denial, again, I say this sometimes, but people who are in denial this week are not going to have a good time because we're going to be forced to feel our feelings. And in my weekly horoscope, which I did for the week, I talked about this a little bit, that especially the earth signs are going to find this a bit of a struggle because we don't like major changes or hysteria or over-the-top emotional displays for no particular reason. But there is a particular reason for this, because we're human beings, we all have feelings, and sometimes we do need to have this massive surge of emotion to get it out, because that's how you affect change. Change doesn't just happen by sitting there and saying everything stays the same, let's just keep everything nice and neat and comfortable. That's what earth signs would like, but this is not an earth sign full moon, it's a full moon in Cancer. So the feelings are going to be flooding all over the atmosphere. People are going to be feeling strong feelings that will cause a lot of change. People will say, I don't like this anymore. I'm going to decide to do something about it. I'm going to make changes. And again, have a look at the weekly forecast, because this is a complicated full moon. There are certain days when you will feel sucked into the feeling side of things. By the time this full moon comes around, you're going to want to act on those feelings. And in the weekly forecast, I said, try not to make big life decisions during this full moon, because the feelings are so over the top that if you make these decisions and you burn your bridges, you may, when the tide subsides and you start to return to sanity, you may just think, oh my God, what have I done here? So the full moon is at 22 degrees. 22 is the master number of the builder. So the emotional upheaval does have a purpose. It is something that is going to be presented to you in a possibly uncomfortable way, but feelings are going to come up that may surprise you. You may have thought that you were over that trauma that happened 10 years ago. You may have thought that you had dealt with the divorce. You may have thought that the bankruptcy was in the past and you've got your confidence back and you're not worried about it anymore. But these emotional reality is going to come up to you and say, hello, here I am, look at me. And it's uncomfortable, yes, but it's important because it's going to influence what you're doing later on this year. This emotional reality is going to force you to say, I'm going to do something about this. Think it through though. Don't make these big plans right on the full moon, and don't sell the house today. Feel it. Try and sit with your feelings. Oh my God, for me to say that, I know what that means, these uncomfortable feelings, and to just sit them out and to hear them and to just say, okay, you're not happy. It's important to feel that and not to try and and numb them with a cigarette or some food or a bottle of wine or something. It's very important to feel them and hear them, because the astrology doesn't just torture us, it's there for a reason. And this Cancer full moon, even though I'm making it sound like a nightmare, is going to be very helpful in creating change in our life, because it forces us to confront our feelings. And our feelings are what creates our life in a way. You know, we think about what we want our life to be. If something doesn't feel right, or if it feels good, then we take action based on what's going on in here. So this is the most important work that we can be doing. So 22 degrees also indicates that it's a master number of the builder, which means that the changes that are going to come out of this full moon are going to affect your life for a while. They're going to be significant changes. It's not just that you're changing the type of phone that you've got or the intercom color. It's significant, where, you know, who you love, where you live, what you work as, all of that stuff. Now, this full moon has a relationship with everything, okay? So let me start with all of the aspects it makes, and then I will go into the Cardinal Grand Cross at the end, which really makes this a bit of a Grand Cross is intense anyway, it's all over the place, but with this full moon, okay, let me go through it one by one. You see, I'm getting all worked up about this. Full moon, first of all, it trines Chiron, and it trines Mars, both of which are in Pisces. And what that does is it will bring out your frustrations, and it will remind you of the people who have hurt you and the people who have done wrong by you, and possible solutions to that. So there are feelings of revenge, plotting to get people back, settling scores, all of those things will come up. We all know, I've had to learn this, exposing people, settling scores, telling people what you really think of them, it doesn't have a purpose. All it does is it puts the negativity out there, and it bonds you to that person forever. If you go up to someone and tell them what you really think, all this negative stuff, you may think you're unloading, but what you're actually doing is you're super gluing yourself to that person emotionally. So if those feelings come up, pray for that person and let it go. And I know that sounds simplistic, but that's what we all have to do. If you despise someone, you pray for them, you surround them in white light, you cut the cord, you let it go, and you keep doing that until the resentments go away. So that's the first challenge you're going to have to be working with. Then we've got a Sesqui square connecting this full moon in Cancer with Venus and your south node in Pisces, and also Neptune to some extent. So also the good memories are going to be there, the loves, the fun times, the niçoise salad that you had at the cafe with the boyfriend. It's going to be beautiful. So you will also remember the good times. So it's not just the bad, but what we're doing here, and I mean, I think you're starting to see the picture, is all of your emotional data bank, all of your emotional baggage, comes right back, and it comes up inside you, and it's this big whoosh of emotion, good and bad. So you're going to be feeling emotional. On the other side of things, the sun obviously opposes the moon here, but Pluto is sitting on top of the sun, and both the sun and Pluto are both in Capricorn at the moment, and they oppose this moon in Cancer. Now the sun is very practical. Pluto is about making practical changes, and a part of your identity is very much identified with, I am here to make changes. I am the master of my own destiny. If I don't like what's going on, I'm going to change something. Now, you're an emotional diva here. You're a drama queen. You're completely hysterical because every emotion you've ever had is coming up. And I am exaggerating a little bit just to get the point across here. So please don't think you're going to lose your mind. But I'm saying you're emotional, okay? So all of that's going on. At the same time, you've got this real sense of belief in yourself that if you don't like something or if something doesn't feel good, you don't have to put up with it and you can change it. And what I'm saying to you is that please don't make these big life decisions today. Think them over during the next couple of days and then decide. And if you do want to put the house up for sale, then do it in a couple of days. But you see, that's the tricky thing. That's the balancing act. I feel so strongly and I am so certain that I can make changes. Why on earth would I not take action? All systems go. So you've got to really just put the brakes on and say, either I'm listening to the forecast and I believe Gregory Scott, who's saying not to do anything, which, if you didn't believe me, I couldn't. I mean, I'm not the authority figure in your life, but what I would recommend that you do is that you get in touch with your own guides and with your own angels, and you say, listen, what should I be doing? Should I make big decisions today? I heard this guy on the internet said I shouldn't. What do you guys think? And really check in with your own guidance and see whether it's right. That, by the way, is always better than anything else. But double check with your own guidance, because I really, just looking at this chart, really get the sense that this is not the time to make big decisions at all. Now, more connections. We've got this full moon then. It quincunxes Saturn in Sagittarius in the 8th. And what that says, that's also 22 degrees. And that also really says that you have to go somewhere with your life. And that right now nothing is happening. And these feelings are designed and meant to get something shaken up and moving, which is true. But the problem is, it's all very well being shaken up and motivated and going somewhere. But if you've got 5 different paths in front of you and you don't know which one to go down, then one might lead you to a pit that you fall into, and it's not that fab. Okay, so that's what this is about, and that's why I think this is such a difficult energy, because you will feel so certain that you want to make changes. Wait until the path opens up for you, and I don't see that happening until Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So this full moon happens on the 12th of January. Feel your feelings and just sit with them, and then wait for the path or for the way forward to appear on the 13th, 14th, and 15th, despite what Saturn says. Okay. Also, the full moon, it trines Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. Oh, yikes. And this is like, it's not just having a score to settle. It's like, she stole my husband, and I haven't done anything about it for 20 years. But I think today's the day I'm going to do something about it. I saw those tires there on the drive. I've got my little knife. I could just let the air out of those babies and I would feel so much better about it. That's what Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio is about. Black Moon Lilith is really the scorned woman in many ways. It's the person who has really been done to and who wants to get revenge and who wants to settle the score. And in Scorpio, it's intense, it's feeling. Add that to a full moon in Cancer and you're a basket case of anger. I'm laughing because it's true. Okay, so there's a lot going on. What else can I say? I mean, we've got so much happening here. I'm now going to get to the Grand Cross, Cardinal Grand Cross. Big build up. I have a drum roll here. So first of all, a Grand Cross is when you've got 4 squares, and a square in astrology is an aspect. Okay, so let's say you've got the sun here and the moon here, and they're 90 degrees apart from each other in the chart. Then that's a square. Okay, so we've got 4 of these. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they form this big red square in the chart, as you can see. Big red square, and that's called a Grand Cross. And it's always in a mode, okay? And in astrology, without getting too technical about it, I don't want to bore you, but you've got cardinal, fixed, and mutable, okay? So cardinal signs are always the first sign. They have to do with really taking action, being in charge. The fixed signs are much more about being consistent and stable, as the name says. And mutable, they're more flexible, okay? So this is a cardinal Grand Cross. It is urging you to be the master of your own destiny, to take action, to be the boss. And so that's another element that we've got, which says, go, go, go. Your feelings are true. Nothing else matters. The only reality that exists is you. You're the center of the universe. Your feelings are everything. They're the be all and end all. And your feelings need to be acted on right now. So first of all, we've got that going on. A Grand Cross in itself gives you a lot of energy, gives you a lot of drive. It pumps you up. It gets you going. And it also frazzles you when it comes to your focus, because it means that, oh my God, I want to sort out my career. I want to make lots of friends. I also want to go to the gym and fix my body. I want to go to my therapist and talk through my childhood trauma and make my inner child happy. I also want to become enlightened and go to India and meet the Dalai Lama. And then I also want to get a promotion from the boss and change my career completely and go to the other city where I can work more effectively. And that all comes together right now. I want to do it all now. So you become so frazzled and driven that it overwhelms people, and most of them just go, oh my God, I can't deal with all of this. So during a Grand Cross, it's very important to keep things simple and to do one thing after the other, and to keep things organized, and to try and take a breath and say, I can't fix my whole life in one day. And a Grand Cross takes a lot of self-control and discipline, because it's a pain in the backside, basically. And combined with this full moon in Cancer, you're feeling everything. You have it's like your skin's been taken off. You've got no outer protective layer, and everything I feel everything. It's going to be a really fun week. Okay. So the actual things making up the Grand Cross now is obviously the Sun and the Moon. I've talked about those. But the squares that they form, they form a square with Uranus and Aries at 20 degrees. And Uranus is the rebel planet. Take a deep breath there. Uranus is about electricity and energy and doing things differently and not conforming and seeing the world in your own unique way and doing things the way you want to do them. Aries is about pushing through obstacles and saying the way is forward. There is no other way. All we can do in life is move ahead, be independent, care about something, and make a dent in the universe. Quotation Steve Jobs. That's what Aries is about. And when you combine these, Uranus is an outer planet, so it's been in Aries for a while, but today it really makes a difference because it's part of this Grand Cross. And this is really going to give you even more drive to just completely tune everyone else out and to say, I am doing things my way, and this is my life, and I'm going to do it the way I want it, and I feel absolutely driven to make things happen. That's what I'm trying to get across here a little bit, that there's this huge drive to act, and that's why this is a problem, because there's a huge potential for you to really make a big error today and to really screw your life up a little bit today, to really throw something out the window that is really valuable. We've all done that. Like, I can't think of an example now, but like from my own life. But for instance, if you've been practicing the piano for 2 years, and you've been working at it every other day, and you've been getting your books out, and you've been doing the little exams, and then one of these days comes along, and you just say, do you know what, the piano, my fingers are sore, and I hate my teacher, and I'm not progressing, and my last exam I failed. Screw the piano, I'm throwing it out the window, maybe literally, and I'm not doing piano anymore. And then you give up the piano on that day. That one day makes that decision for you, and you stop the lessons, and for the rest of your life, you're now no longer a piano player. So I know that's obvious, but one decision, one day, can really change the course of your life. And you could have been a great pianist. You could have also really been terrible and just kept practicing and been unhappy. But that's what this is about. It's about feelings and trying to navigate through those feelings and not making a mistake. And that's why it's always so important to check in with your higher power, your guides, your angels. The universe wants you to succeed. So when things astrologically on planet Earth get complicated like this, and it's like a maze, you need to ask for help. Because you don't know, were you supposed to be a piano player or not? You don't know. You didn't do it. the success never came, so you don't know if you were a big star or not. So, okay, so Uranus gives you that big sense of drive. So my way of using this, I would say, if you're in a relationship or if you have romance in your life or someone you care about, the best way to deal with this week leading up to this full moon, from the 9th until the 12th, is to really engage in emotional romantic things. That's the way to calm all of this down. Not to try and organize things. Do that later on in the week, and don't drive yourself crazy with all this emotion. You've got to find an outlet. If your emotional outlet is through, well, I was going to say binge eating, don't do that. If it's sport, then do that. If it's playing the violin, do that. Do something healthy that gets rid of your emotions. You've got to dump emotional stuff this week. You got to, because otherwise you'll sink. The other part of the Grand Cross is Jupiter. That's on the other side, and that is in Libra, also at 22 degrees. Libra is another cardinal sign. Obviously, it's a cardinal Grand Cross. And Jupiter is a magnifying glass, and it just blows things up. Okay, so we've got a Hindenburg of emotions. Okay, so we've got you being super, super emotional, super driven to make changes, really convinced of your own wisdom and mastery in life, and then Jupiter puts a magnifying glass on that and makes it bigger. I'm gonna get a really nice duvet, and I'm gonna dive under it on Thursday, and I'm not going to make any decisions. Nope. So if you're sending me an email on Thursday, it's unlikely. I'm kidding, kind of. It's going to be an emotional day, so let's all get real. Let's all try and find an emotional outlet so that this doesn't feel like such a chaos, such a drama, such a big hysterical moment. Oh, and by the way, if you're really offended by this forecast that I'm telling you news that aren't perfect, the fact of life is that life is not perfect, and sometimes things really suck. And if you can't face that, then I'm not the person to speak to. Because that's part of the way I look at life. Things aren't always going to be rosy, okay? And this isn't going to be something rosy, and I'm not going to tell you it's going to be wonderful, because it isn't. I just don't see that, okay? So the way I think I'm going to deal with it, and I think the way we should all deal with it, and I'm sorry I'm going on and on and on, is to find an outlet, emotional outlet, so that it doesn't feel like such a big blow up, to sit with the feelings and see what they actually offer us, to see what changes we can make in future once things have calmed down a little bit, and also there was something else that's escaped me. Emotional, yeah, the romance thing I've said, creative, meditation, talking to people, whatever it is that decompresses you is really important to do. And then maybe even make a note of what you're feeling and what's really upsetting you the most and bothering you, and make a note of it during the full moon, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, look at it and see what changes you could then make. Okay? So try and resist. Sports could also be very useful, just to kind of burn off some of this extra energy, because you're going to be antsy. You're going to have, almost restless leg syndrome here. You're going to want to do something about all of this. So there we go. So yes, very important to work with this in the sense that you continually get rid of extra energy, and you try and learn the lessons that you're getting from all of this. And then it can be a significant and long-term change for the better, because like I said before, the astrology isn't just here to torture us. It's always an opportunity to make things better, and sometimes we do have to feel our feelings very, very intensely and very significantly so that we can face reality and change it. So there we go. So yeah, I don't mean that. I'm not trying to be negative. What I'm trying to say is that if that negative things do happen to us, but usually there's a positive way to deal with it. And also the truth is that really we don't have any other option. If you take negativity and you just say, well, it's negative and I'm just going to sit in it, then then you're giving into it. And the only option we really have in life is to keep moving forward and to go on and to muddle through somehow. I mean, that's, we've all got to keep living somehow. So try and get something out of it. If it's going to be bad anyway, if it's going to feel uncomfortable, then treat it as research. Treat it as emotional research. Hey, this is a therapy session without a bill. You're getting a therapy session via the universe, free of charge. It may feel uncomfortable, but at least you will get some breakthroughs internally, and then you can change your life. So 2017 here is starting off with a big bang emotionally. Let's use that energy, because a big bang is always energy, and let's use that big bang to fuel what we're going to do in future. So it's important to do your homework in the 3 days after this full moon. Okay, so I think I've waffled on long enough. Jeez, it's a long video. So I'm sorry I've kept you so long, but like I said, it is super, super complicated. And I hope it's given you some ideas of what this is about. And I hope it's given you some ideas of what you can do with this to make great changes in your life. So if you would like me to look at your private, at your natal chart, at your private birth chart, which I can draw up by looking at your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth, then please get in touch with me via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to order your reading. Please remember to subscribe to my channel. That is the easiest way to support me, and I really would appreciate it if you like this video. Or if you didn't like this video, subscribe to the channel, please. I really, really appreciate it. I'm going to be with you for the daily tarot readings, the weekly horoscopes, these new moon and full moon videos, and all the other stuff that I do. I hope you have a wonderful full moon. I hope you get some emotional revelation. Some, wow, maybe that's the way it's going to appear for you. And I hope you can do something wonderful with that, and I'll speak to you soon. What feels comfortable, and Libra is about being able to create positive, harmonious relationships and building a bridge between you and other people. If you're single, you